What's up, y'all? Thanks for stopping by the Surge T channel. I am Surge T, and this video is my rundown and thoughts on Monday Night Raw for the 4th of October 2021. Well, let's get to it. The second round of the 2021 draft continues, and the man opens up the evening and she is now part of Raw. She pretty much says, let's not delay it, let's not hold it off or whatever. Let's just get the cat out of the bag that I am the first round or the first pick of of the WWE Draft, and she confirms it, like I said, and boy, is that predictable. Like, I'm thinking, oh well, Charlotte's on SmackDown with the Raw title. Well, I guess we got to do Becky on Raw with the SmackDown Women's title. Yeah. Now, she talks about how she never lost the Raw Women's title, and that's true. She had to go and have her baby, little baby Rue, and she put it in the, they put her title in the briefcase, Money in the Bank briefcase. Asuka didn't know she won the briefcase, and she, unbeknownst to her, won the Raw Women's title. And she's talking about later on that how she's not undefeated. She's undefeated. She's never was. She's been Raw Women's Champion since WrestleMania 35. Which ideally, yeah, it is. That's the truth. But in actuality, she's not because the title went to someone else. But yeah, she's never lost. Sure, of course, that's the truth right there. Now, as she's saying this, she says that she is, she'd like to become. I think it's time to become the Becky Two Belts. And then Charlotte comes out. Then it was just her being annoying again. And then the EST comes out. Bianca Belair, and I actually heard how her music used to start. And later on, when she comes out for a match, went back to the new stylized version, of if you want to call it that. And she says she has unfinished business with Becky Lynch and Charlotte, and talks about how she goes here now. Pretty much saying that you guys don't go here, I do. But then again, she can't say that about Becky because Becky, well, at this point, it wasn't made official. So, now Charlotte sucks chance ring out. Then she tries to shut him down by saying what. And it was so fucking cringy when she did that. And then she's all saying that she's a woman, and it sounded so forced. Like, I guess they're saying Charlotte sucks, and she says, "Well, I'm a woman. You don't say that to a woman." I guess that's what she meant. Now Charlotte looks at Bianca as charity, not opportunity. And I'm thinking, yeah, isn't Charlotte the poster child for charity? It says that they hand her out, title shots and titles left and right. Like I said, are they going to do that thing like they did with the Street Profits and New Day last year, where they're going to switch titles and then it's going to count as a title reign? Like we need Charlotte, like I've said it before, but we need Charlotte having another number added to her title reigns, you know. And then we find out that Charlotte will take on Bianca in the main event. It was made official by Sonya Deville. And it's the first time ever. The surprise that they've never faced each other before. And then Damian Priest is announced that he will defend his U.S. title against Jeff Hardy. Yeah, Jeff Hardy wasn't pinned in that triple threat, so I guess this is a pretty good thing to do because yeah, he didn't get pinned. Usually they'll give that person another title shot. Now let's go to the first round of the draft, and we already know that Becky Lynch is going to Raw. SmackDown will, they picked the Usos, and so we see Heyman with his hand over his heart, grateful, looked like he probably almost was close to having a heart attack, and so he's not gonna be at the mercy of the Usos to leave them for dead, like Roman Reigns said on SmackDown. Now Raw's next pick is the Almighty Bobby Lashley. Okay. And for SmackDown, the final pick was the boss, Sasha Banks. And let's move on to the U.S. title match. In the end, we see a Swanton Bomb land, but Priest shifts his weight to pin Hardy and retain his title. And during the interview, Hardy said this. He said, "You're going to be seeing a different side, a different ego of Jeff Hardy." that's going to debut at on the Blue Brand. And I'm just thinking, was he referring to his alter ego Will O the Wisp? Uh, it's an alternate a gimmick of his that he did back when he and his brother Matt were running their own little wrestling company, and then he also introduced that character in TNA Impact, and he's gonna debut it here. I don't know. Vince McMahon probably is not too keen on it. He probably won't even allow him to do that, but it would kind of bring a little bit of a different thing to his, you know, to his gimmick, to his thing, to be able to do something different. The only thing that's gonna be different for Jeff is that he's gonna have different opponents on SmackDown. But what different things are going to bring to the ring that we haven't seen already? That could be something that they could do. Now, Austin Theory comes out and greets Jeff Hardy, and his dreams come true. He says he's looking at his idol. And then here comes the blindside attack, and of course it happens. They're taking a selfie. Theory pretends to be like, oh, my phone ain't working, and then he hits him with it, and, takes him out. Then, I'm thinking this is a new feud, but Jeff's still on Raw until the 22nd, so they're probably gonna have a little quick thing going because they're gonna part ways because Theory is on Raw now, and then Jeff, of course, is on SmackDown. Now, Orton calls out Omos ahead of Rated Arcade Bros title defense against Styles and Omos at Crown Jewel. Now, Baszler's in the ring, and she looks to make Dana Brooke her next victim. And this is how I want Shayna to be booked. An arm breaker, arm taker, a no shits given Queen of Spades. Now, second round draft pick, the first pick of the second round, Seth Rollins is picked and referred to as the visionary of drip. And I'm thinking, what is Raw's obsession with that word? First the Miz and Morrison, and then now Rollins. And so he's, like I said, he's going over to Raw. So, of course, they're doing that because Edge is there and they want to continue that feud. Now, SmackDown picks King Nakamura and Rick Boogs, so they remain there. Raw keeps Damian Priest, who remains. And, of course, his U.S. title will be there with him as well. And Sheamus goes to SmackDown, and this may be good for him because he's done everything he can on Raw. And let's see what he does on SmackDown. Now, Dana Brooks is this is a match between her and Shayna Baszler, and she's being systematically dismantled by the Queen of Spades, and she ends up tapping her out to the cue for the clutch, and it was a far-gone conclusion. And then Shayna looks to damage Brooks' arm, but Doudrop comes out and comes to her aid, and she gets a little bit of a cheap shot from behind, Shayna Baszler hits her from behind, but then she just shakes it off and looks at her, and looks like she and Baszler are headed towards a match next week, possibly. Now, Paul Heyman backstage with the Usos. They're all confident. They're all happy. And then they were all around the same page. And then with the Usos was Paul Heyman. And then the Brock Lesnar free agent status was brought up by the interviewer. And then the Usos quickly, their happy smiles get turned to frowns, and they look at Paul Heyman, and then they walk off and leave him there. And I'm thinking, how long are these guys going to continue doing this shit? You know what I'm saying? Dragging that on. Oh, you're still friends with Brock Lesnar? You're still this. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, getting old after a while. It's like, yeah, we got it. Yeah, we got it. You're still in doubt about Paul Heyman. It's like, one of those things, man. Where if you guys keep doing that, you keep just dragging something along, you keep extending the damn thing going. It's just going to get old. It's going to get tiring, annoying, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, they got to be suspicious of Paul Heyman because of his friendship. But how many times is he going to tell him no? How many times says, I know I'm not friends with him, and stuff like that. I mean, he's loyal to the tribal chief. Doesn't that count for anything, right? Ali and Mansoor versus Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. And Ali and Mansoor lose. Why wouldn't they? Because they suck. And even Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. Really? Does anybody care about these two teams? It's just a filler. It's just a time filler, so that they can move on to the next segment. And then we see Big E's music hits. It was like at the end of the match. And it's like a who cares about this match? Let's bring out the WWE champion, and I agree. Now let's move on to the third round. Raw picks Styles and Omos. And then SmackDown chooses Shayna Baszler, so she's going to be going over there to wreak havoc, break more arms, take more arms, do what she has to do. And then Raw selects KO, and then the Blue Brand selects Xia Li. And I am intrigued at what they're going to do with her because she was doing really well on NXT. She was a part of Tianjia with Mei Ying and Boa. Now it's just going to be those two left on NXT, and then she's here. What are they going to do with Xia Li? Are they going to do well with her? Probably next first few weeks, first few months, and then she's going to be in catering, probably. I hope not. She's come a long way. She has really done well. She's gotten herself in the best shape of her life. Her skills continue to this. She has some. She is a wushu practitioner. I believe she's a world champion in that area, and she just kicks ass. She's lethal. She's somebody that could easily outshine Asuka when it comes to like a kick ass person like her. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Now, Big E asked McIntyre to come to the ring and speak his mind. And, he is a SmackDown, draftee, but he's still on Raw until October 22nd. We know that. And will he challenge at Crown Jewel? Now, Drew tells E he deserves the title, and the crowd agrees. He wants to look E in the eye and congratulate him. But come on, challenge him already. That's what I'm saying. Come on, you know what I mean? Stop talking about, this and that. And then he brings up Big E cashing in on an injured Lashley, but Lashley did the same to Drew, and finally Drew challenges E. But then we get the buzzkill that is Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Does anybody care at this point about those two? Great talents. Robert Roode is money. He can be if they push him the right way. He's stuck with that zero Dolph Ziggler, who, yeah, the guy's talented. Yeah, the guy really, really does make other people look good. He really puts people over, but it's just the same thing with these guys over and over. When are they gonna do something with I mean, but I already made like the decision. I said, watch, I bet you, let me guess, this becomes a tag team match, and then during the course of the match, Big E and McIntyre will collide, things get heated, yada, something like that, but who knows, but before the ending, before the inevitable, like Dolph does show footage of Big E during his days as just a bodyguard for, what do you call it, for Dolph Ziggler, and then same thing with Drew, showing his history with Dolph Ziggler. Of course, they were former Raw Tag Team Champions, and all he wants is just a simple thank you. And then a little later, they say that Dolph deserves an ass whooping, not a thank you. And that was that. Now, it's Friday and continuing Monday, the King of the Ring and Queen's Court tournaments commence. But onto the tag team match between, during the course of that confrontation, that thing, they started calling each other. They had these little cute little nicknames for each other and stuff like that. But this tag team match is between DZ, who is Dolph Ziggler, and Big Bob, because he said he's Big Bob, you're Big E, no, I'm Big Bob, and then of course Big E, and then Big D for Drew McIntyre. Oh God, we got it. It's like Big D means, you know what Big D means. Wink, wink, like, oh, we can get this by the censors. And in the end, a Claymore to Ziggler, and then Big E and McIntyre are victorious. And E says, you want this so bad, it's on at Crown Jewel. So it's official. The WWE Championship match happens. And I see Drew McIntyre again failing because I don't think they want to take the title off of, just yet, off of Big E. And Reggie evades would-be contenders. And again, a nothing segment. Let's move on forward. KO enters the arena, and Corey wants The Miz, to fail so he can come back because he misses him. In regards to the him being on Dancing with the Stars, And I think we should continue to vote Miz through, so that'll be a long time before we see his dumb ass on Raw. Kind of funny, Corey Graves. Oh, and I'm going. Don't you want Miz to succeed? I mean, I get it. You want your boyfriend to come back. He acts like that. He acts like he wants to, Uh, you know what I mean? And I go, man, like he's WWE for life. I'm pretty sure he'll be back. Well, pull for a success there, Corey. But maybe I'll watch that thing. Maybe so I can just vote him through so that he can't come back for a long time. And then during this thing with KO, he's supposed to have a KO show, and then Tozawa interrupts him, and he says that he's not there to talk because he's not there to talk. He's there to challenge Reggie for the 24/7 title again. Didn't they have a title match before? And geez, man, is there anyone else in this damn division? He did have a lot of them when Reggie was invading all these competitors. I'm seeing some different people. Holy shit. I even see Apollo Crews and Aziz, who gives a fuck about those two, but they were there in the back. And then Apollo Crews and his fake accent going, oh, this looks like a place where we can have fun, or a place where there's a lot of challengers. Like, who cares? The height of your success is an Intercontinental title. I don't think you're gonna do any better. Now, in the end, he just gives Tozawa the stunner. He should actually stun the whole 24/7 division and be done with it. Now Raw. Let's talk about the fourth round draft there. Draft picks and Raw picks the Street Profits. Why are they so pumped up about it? But then I thought to myself, okay, yeah, because they were there last year and they got drafted to SmackDown. So I guess they're happy to be back. And SmackDown chooses the Viking Raiders to a slew of, they got silence from the crowd. No one cared. And even they looked like they were like this, because they just looked at each other all menacingly. They lost their cred. I mean, they lost their ability to be the Viking Raiders who pillage and who, go on raids of the tag team division when, had nothing to show for it, like I said that before. Like I said, no one cares. And then Raw selects the Prince Finn Balor, so a chance to reboot and restart after that debacle that was the Extreme Rules match. Why are they showing stuff like thin thumbnails and all this stuff that it was Brock Lesnar that cut the rope and like that? I'm like going, does it matter? Because it was asinine. It really didn't make no damn sense. Why would the ropes break like that? It looked totally like, what the, hell. And then the final pick for SmackDown goes to... in this round goes to Ricochet. I'm sorry, the guy has he's excitement personified. He does a people sign a great damn match. He's what do you call it? High flyer, bounce all over the place. If they pushed him correctly, but they don't. So why does it matter? Who cares? If they don't do nothing with him, nothing's gonna happen. Now the women's tag team titles are on the line. Who cares? What's the end result? Well, first, why is WWE piping in crowd response when they have an actual crowd? I mean, maybe it's just because the majority of the crowd care less about this match. You hear nothing but crickets at times when it comes to these four ladies. I don't get it. And who won? The champs retain. Okay, moving on. Final night, and the next draft pick, the final night for the draft, and next draft picks in the fifth round. Karrion Kross continues to try and scare us on Raw, and then SmackDown gets Garza and Carrillo, and then Raw selects Alexa Bliss, and then the final pick, SmackDown picks Cesaro. Don't care about any of them. I love Cesaro, but they continue to start his pushes and stuff like that. He needs to just leave and go somewhere else because he'll be utilized better outside of WWE, not here. There's a bunch of these people that I could say that about. Viking Raiders, man. Go back to being the War Machine. Go back to damn, ROH. That's where they were at before, right? Go to AEW. Go to fucking, Impact. And they'll be the badass, kick-ass tag team that they were before. Look what happened with the Revival. They returned into almost a comedy act almost. But then now they're FTR over there in AEW and they're fucking kicking ass. Now, Oberg is in the ring to face Bobby Lashley. Face to face. And Bobby Lashley, whose neck he wants to intentionally break. And Lashley's music hits, and he still insists that it was a misunderstanding what he did to Gage Goldberg. And at Crown Jewel, they meet, and that match is no holds barred. Goldberg thinks that it's the best idea because, pretty much he says the no holds barred. Now I got a license to kill you. This is like the way the things he's saying and stuff, and then like he finished it perfectly by saying you're next, right? And then he has to add you're dead. Like, we got it. You want to kill Bobby Lashley? We got it. How many times you got to say you want to kill him? You want to do this, do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and enough about him. He needs to focus 100% on his son. Train his son. Build him up so that one day he's going to be in the ring. Stop trying to come back to the ring when nobody cares. He was great in his time in WCW. The longest reigning, he was the WCW champion. First time that somebody undefeated won that championship. And, those days are behind him. But it's almost like he still just wants to keep doing that. He wants to keep, holding on to that. Now, the New Day versus the Hurt Business is Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, and I put a question mark on that. I mean, yeah, he did. They did dump Goldberg. They were donning the shirts, and then you see later on that it's on their trunks as well. And then I'm talking about their beef with Lashley. That's what Saxon brought up. How about their beef with each other? It's like another inane question and an inane comment by Byron Saxon. And then Woods, we see him walking the top rope like he does, drops that elbow and pins Alexander. And so much for the reunited Benjamin and Alexander. What's going to happen next week? Alexander is going to blame Benjamin. You're too old. You slow me down. And then they fight. And then they have one match. And then they go away. And Bobby Lashley was just smiling like, okay, yeah. As if he's, what, they didn't accomplish anything. Yeah, they jumped, what do you call it? But what happened? He, kind of shrugged him off. He hits a spear on Benjamin. Okay, what's next? And then the Street Profits come out, and what are they going to say? Because, last year we know they did the switcheroo with New Day, right? When it came to the draft, but this time they don't have no tag team titles on them. And they go in there and they schmooze the, what do you call it? Montez Ford gives an imaginary drink to Kofi Kingston, and then they, don't care. Now, will Omos accept the one-on-one challenge for the Raw Tag Team titles? Oh, not the Raw Tag titles, but the challenge from Randy Orton. And Omos was about to accept, but it looked more like a ruse and a way to get Styles and Omos in the ring, and then Styles gets hit by the RKO before he and Riddle skedaddle to the outside. He's calling him. He's saying something like, "Are you Styles, personal colossus, or are you just a big bitch?" you see Omos come out. He was fuming, and I'm just thinking he looked pissed. It's like, man, he definitely wanted to get his hands on him, but at Crown Jewel, they're gonna get the shot at the tag team titles, so we'll see. Now, but I'm saying, like I've said it before in past videos, that I don't care about that damn pay-per-view. The last round, final picks. Raw gets Carmella, and SmackDown picks NXT's Ridge Holland. Okay, so now Pete Dunne's going to be by himself again, and he's going to find someone else to be his bodyguard, so to speak. Let's see what he does. The guy gets he's a guy that they could definitely make a monster, a fucking guy who's gonna do pretty much what he's doing on NXT, take out everybody, leave people laid out, be someone that could be a sizable opponent for somebody, because the guy's pretty tough. The dude can kick people's asses, without even skipping a beat. Boom. You know what I mean? Hopefully they will do well by him. And then this one's kind of a surprise. Like, the Raw picks Gable Steveson, who is the 2020 gold medalist, Pan Am Games, all that stuff. An amateur wrestler now. He's a pro wrestler signed to WWE, and they send him to Raw. What are they going to do with him? The guy has to get acclimated to the way things are in wrestling, pro wrestling, WWE. There's a lot to do. This isn't a place where you go and You look confused and you don't know where the camera is and all that stuff. You got to be on your ball. You got to be, what are they going to do with him? How about you keep him in the developmental place? They're in NXT. Have him train. I mean, he's probably been training for some time, but it's like, you're going to send him to Raw? Guarantee you, you're going to see him flub a lot because they're not training him properly. They're not preparing him for the main roster. You don't just send somebody to the main roster. They did that with AJ, but AJ's, 20-something years now he's been in wrestling. He doesn't need to be conditioned and trained to know the WWE system in NXT. That's why he came to the main roster. But they're doing that with this guy. Hopefully they're not doing this and it's going to bury him. It's going to make him look bad. I don't know. And then Blue Brand gets Sami Zayn. Who cares about Sami Zayn? Is he going to continue his conspiracy theory bullshit? Come on now. Main event time. Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair, first time match, and she she's not the most flippy or the most lifty, says the man. I'm like, okay, And then Byron Saxton, he's just so good with his stupid innate bullshit comment or questions. That could be you, Becky, said Saxton after Charlotte kicks out of an attempt by Belair, right? And then Becky points it out. Kicking out. Yeah, that's me kicking out. Like, he's an idiot. And he goes, well, I was just putting out the scenarios there. A good scenario? If she kicks out, that's a good scenario. You're trying to tell her that, something might happen to you. You might lose your title. Don't fucking pick a time when she gets kicked out. He probably got fucking frazzled or something and he didn't realize that he said that. But then again, he's stupid when it comes to things that he says. It's like, sometimes it's just like, what are you doing, dude? I mean, like we always talk about, maybe McMahon is blowing in his ear, yelling at him, and he's probably getting confused and doesn't know what he's saying, stuff like that, but it just happens too much. It does. And then we see like a natural selection. Bianca did something where she lifted her head a little bit, so she didn't take the thing, and then we see a KOD attempt, and then Charlotte kicks out of that, or not kicks out, but she avoids that. But then Belair is hit with a spear, pretty damn good spear. I got to give it to Charlotte. But then she kicks out, Belair does. And then another KOD attempt was delivered, but the man makes sure Bianca doesn't win this match because, Becky Lynch pulls her out, throws her into the steps. And then in all this chaos, Sasha comes in, she makes her presence felt and takes out Bianca and gives a bank statement to Becky, and she stands tall in the ring. And Raw was Raw. You know how that is with me and my channel. You know what I mean? It wasn't. It didn't make me upset. It didn't make me go, God damn it! This fucking sucks. Like that. No, I mean better than last week or previous weeks. But then again, like I always say, that doesn't make Raw better. Just because it was a little bit better. No, it still was like, again, we see 4 men in the ring, and it turns into a tag team match. Again, rinse and repeat. Talk segments. Dumb 24/7 division still existing. Tozawa asking for another shot. Got it. 4 women who tag team title match, and no one cares. No one pops for what's her name, or Rhea. No one does that for Nikki. Who gives a fuck about Natalia and Tamina? Like, no one really responds to them. But yeah, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.